This is Mr. John Bartee, Chairman of OLM Constitution Drafting Committee, and he has reactions to recent developments regarding the review process of the Constitution.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here with you and to respond to the failure of the board and the committee set up to even not being able to even call or to find out. I'm a bit taken aback that even the people are just that is sent, and I don't know which constitution they will review, because the constitution I gave the boys, I gave to the president, is in my hand, quite different from what I'm looking here. This is riddled with falsehoods and failures and have no objective, and I don't know what they're doing. But the fact is, we gave the president a constitution with the consent of the member of my board, of my committee, and we have the constitution here. We saw the recommendation, we saw all their work, and it's inconsistent. But let's go to the issue of procedure. You know, there is a behavior among Liberians that the fact that you're not part of it, you have to destroy it. And I think that's the case in this situation. The chairman of the board received a constitution from the executive committee. He never called the committee. He never even spoken to any of us regarding our work. And he went ahead and started a committee. The committee did not even call. There was no consultation. There was no discussion. Just to find out that they were working on a document that had nothing to do with us. It's a failure. People have to be responsible, you know. And I don't know why they couldn't talk to us. We're not belligerent to them. It's a weakness, and you know, the kind of failure of leadership in our community, we have to stop it. Incompetent people who have no ability to function think they can do a job, and then they can't do it. This is a document. I don't know what is wrong with the preamble. The preamble is here, the Liberian will see it. I don't know what's wrong with governing power. It's so shameful that in the review process, that officers in an organization where the executive director will be appointed by the board under the new constitution will not be referred to as officers. The CEO and the deputy CEO or Hewlett Packard or any of the bigger corporate, 3M or any of the corporate American organization, the executive committee, the board appoint them, but they are referred to as officer of the organization because they run the day-to-day activities. And they are saying, no, it's inconsistent. Where are they coming from? What are we thinking? That a corporate executive is not an officer. You know, so maybe they don't understand the Constitution. I think they need to ask, you know, question governing powers. They say here there are inconsistent languages with governing power. We have governing power here. The language is not inconsistent, it's precise. And so one may not, and you know, I wanted to make a point, because it's important for people to understand. There were people on a group that revised, that went to look at the Constitution. They did honor matter signed of administration. They did work on the Constitution. They did not do anything. The Constitution was never approved. They didn't even finish it. The same people coming back today on the committee criticizing, making unseen judgment of people. You know, so it's sad. But my problem is the procedure. I think the board, you know, something wrong somewhere. They don't know what they're doing. They need to ask how people function, how the things happen. If you giving a work to a committee to review it, there's a procedure. And even if the review is submitted to you, and then you review it before you can make it public. So I don't know what they were doing. I don't know which constitution. I hope they know what, because this constitution, I'm looking at the article in the reviewing process and the one I have are completely different.
But there are some information that specifically you referenced that seems to be the same, like due payment. They believe that due payment is restricting. It should not be stated in the Constitution or the bylaws that this amount should be set aside for due because the economy will change and it should be left to the circumstances. That is one aspect. The other aspect is that the Constitution had a lot of confusions around the Constitutions. How do you react to that? And three, you believe that the board should have called you to say, you know what, this is the work you've done. We don't understand this, to clarify some of the points. And just want you to add to those points, to add more to them.
Yeah, first is, there is process throughout the world, or even in the United States, the way the process is done. We've gone through talking to lawyers, talking to corporate lawyers, and talking to people from different backgrounds. What the first, we expect a board to call us and find out and seek explanation, things that are needed to understand. That did not happen. We can't blame them. It is their right to do what they want to do. We had a battle with that, but this is the issue. Because they didn't call us, now it's becoming clear that the Constitution they're working on is quite different from what we gave to the President. I just spoke to the President. This is a copy of what we did. So what they're doing is completely outside the perimeter of what we did. The next thing I'll respond is, yes, on the issue of the $5. We know there will be inflation. We understand that. But the board from time to time can make an amendment to the Constitution. So we don't have to write everything, because the level, the Constitution has to be precise. It can't be ambiguous. We say $5 inflation. Based on that, the board can, at any time in the future, can always make it done to the Constitution. We have to be forward-looking. So we're clear today, and the board can always make changes to the Constitution. This is why the provision for amendment is in the Constitution. And the next issue is the issue of that you spoke about. What was the third question you asked was disagreement. Our disagreement is the issue of procedure. These things are done according to how they're supposed to be done. And we're not ready to just let our work be dealt with in a manner when in fact people don't know what they're doing. I mean, I don't understand when they say we're not concise in the governing power, in the preamble. And I don't understand why even the officers, are you saying that the executive director who will be appointed by the board and his deputy are not officers? Is that what they're saying? Somebody must be sick here.
They are saying officers should be elected officers.
But under the corporate board, the only elected officers are the board members. And then they appoint the executive, and the executive also are officers because they will run the day-to-day activity of the organization. They even make question, they raise issue why the board should be able to raise funds. Where in the world, in a corporate constitution, that the board don't help raise money? Especially for a membership-based organization that will have to provide something. The board is part of the fundraising because the executive committee will run the day-to-day in corporate in relation to the board. So this is just something that is, I don't know where they're coming from, but you know, when you have headless people moving things, they understand, they have the dynamics of functional organization, and they do not.
So you think what caused all this problem? Is it because?
I think the problem is because the board did not handle it well, the board did not function according to the way. If the board had called us, and we have spoken to the board, and even the Saturday committee, maybe they would have known the basis for most of the argument and most of the. So the fact that we're not talking to one another, one do not know how it functions, what's going on, and in fact that they are operating from a different constitution. I hope that most of during the draft that were passing around for photo review and sometimes sent to the chairman to look at it, well, now they won't submit it. And that would be a complete failure of leadership. And I'll be ashamed if that's what he did.
But if it is submitted, then it must have come from your committee.
No, they won't come from my committee. I called to the president, I spoke to the president, and he told me he submitted this one. And this is what I'm showing. And it's quite different from what I'm seeing from the article. Because if Article 1 here is different from Article 1 in the reviewing process, it must be different. So I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you so much for the interview. Hope to talk to you soon.